All right. Welcome in. Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. It is September 5th, early evening. Got the Bears and Packers kicking off in about an hour, and we're going to get you caught up on some college football injuries, trends, news going in to week 2. Let's start with Alabama, a 55 or 55 and a half point home favorite to New Mexico State. So during Nick Saban's tenure, when he's laid enormous numbers like this, he's usually taken it easy on his opposing coaches, shown a little class, kind of hit the brakes in the third quarter and doesn't do much in the fourth, and the ATS stats are out there to prove it. So during this is his 13th season now, when Alabama is favored by 45 and a half points or more, the Tide is 2-10 against the spread. When Alabama is laying 48 and a half points or more, they are 1-7 against the spread. And when they have laid 50 points or more, they are 1-4 against the spread. So the Tide and the Aggies of New Mexico State, if you're thinking the trend's your friend, then New Mexico State plus the 55 and a half might be the play. Okay, so the LSU line, Texas has got all sorts of injuries at the running back and tight end positions, and LSU comes to town off a 55-3 beatdown of Georgia Southern, a team that has traditionally been dynamite against SEC and FBS foes when catching big numbers like the 27 or 28 they were catching last week. But LSU had that spread taken care of at halftime and rolled. LSU looks very good, as I expected. I did not expect them to be favored by this much, though. They are favored by 6.5 at most spots in Austin at Texas. So that brings us to Tom Herman's underdog statistics as a head coach, which are absolutely off the chart. Okay, so as a home dog, since he got to Texas, only twice, 2-0 against the spread with one outright win. Okay, in the 2 seasons at Texas, as a dog, neutral, away, home, whatever, combined, Tom Herman 8-2 against the spread with 5 outright wins in 10 games as an underdog with the Longhorns. Okay, now we go back to his 2 seasons at UH, the Houston Cougars. His team was an underdog 5 times. They won outright all 5 times. And not just outright, they won in absolute ass beatings, shellackings against their opponents. For instance, in 2015, as a 3-point underdog to Navy, 16th ranked Navy, back when the Ken Nuimatalolos were flying high. 3-point dog, Houston beats them by 21, 52-31, so they beat the closing number by 24 points. 12-point underdog at Reliant Stadium the next year against Oklahoma. 33-23 win over OU. That was Ed Oliver's first game as a true freshman, and he dominated. So they beat the number by 22 combined points there, 24 in the Navy game. So that's 46 combined points. Then they go, and that was a 3rd-ranked OU team in week 1. And then they host Louisville, 3rd-ranked Louisville, with Lamar Jackson the year he won the Heisman in 16, and they beat them 36-10. My Phil Steelbook says the line was 14.5. That's BS. That line shot up, because I remember buying it from 16.5 to 17, and I had it on the money line at plus 600 odds. That was a big night for me. So, I mean, they were at least 15 and a half. I mean, one of my accounts might have just kind of shot it up there a little higher than others. But, so what did I say? They had beaten the line by 46 combined points in those two games. And then in that one, they win by 26 plus at least 15 is 31. 46 and 31, that's 77 combined points in 3 dog spots they're beating the closing line by. So 5-0 straight up and against the spread at Houston. Tom Herman as an underdog with his 8-2 with 5 outright wins at Texas. That makes him as an underdog in his head coaching career spanning 4 seasons, 13-2 against the spread with 10 outright wins. And because the Oklahoma game at Reliant Stadium was considered neutral, because I guess they sold Oklahoma's many seats or whatever. There was at the Texans Stadium where I took my Super Bowl L, Falcons, Patriots. I'll never go back to that blah of a stadium again. But, okay, so the home dog spots at Houston were the Louisville game and that Navy game I mentioned. So as a home dog in his career, Herman 4-0. It's against the spread, 3 outright wins. And in those games, he's beaten the closing line by 100 combined points. 100! That's something else, man. Those are some crazy underdog stats. I'm really high on LSU. I'm not looking to fade them. But if the number gets to 7, I'll probably have a small play on Texas. Nothing crazy. And this is one of my plays. And the stats with this one are just, they're so good. They really are. I mean, they are just great. And I am talking about Eastern Michigan, my guys, the Fighting Chris Creightons with quarterback Mike Glass. This team, if you're going Eastern Michigan, what? Well, first off, you should like Maction to begin with, because you're going to want to bet November games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights after the World Series is over, and we're going to have double, triple, quadruple headers of Maction Sunbelt week in and week out. And by the way, yesterday and Tuesday were deplorable without Pigskin. We were spoiled rotten from Thursday to Monday with games every single day. The last 2 nights have sucked. And we only have 1 NFL game tonight. The doubleheader of college, or FBS tomorrow. I think there's actually 4 total games. Okay, so check out all these stats on Eastern Michigan. And let me go to live odds and see where the line is right now. It's been around 15 most of the day. They're at Kentucky, by the way. Kentucky 0-10, their last 10 as a home favorite until they win and cover last week against Toledo 38-24. That line went all the way down to 10, and so they covered. And so now they are 1-10 against the spread. Their last 11 as a home favorite. Okay, the line is 15 at most books. Okay, how about this factoid for the Eastern Michigan Eagles? Because the line is 15, this stat pertains to this game. How many games in a row has Eastern Michigan not lost by 15 points or more? 35 straight, dating back to week 2, 2016, when they lost to Missouri 61-21. Since then, 35 games in a row, their biggest L was by 15 points, and that's the spread here. Okay, I told you Kentucky's 1-10 against the spread. Their last 11 is a home favorite. But let's put this baby to bed. Like, it wasn't like they had some monster cover against the Rockets last week. Kentucky got a defensive touchdown in the first half. It was 14 all at halftime. With less than 9 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, Kentucky was only up 24-17. Now, look, Toledo is a perennial MAC power, usually better than Eastern Michigan. Maybe not this year, we'll see. Time will tell. So Eastern Michigan last week, they go on the road. They cover as a favorite at Coastal Carolina. Senior QB Mike Glass, 20 of 22 throwing the ball, 188 yards, 3 touchdowns without an interception. He also had a rushing touchdown. So now the JUCO transfer, counting last year at EMU, he's only started 4 career games. Now he came in backup duty quite a few times, but his career TDI&T ratio is now 12-1, and he has 7 rushing touchdowns. Okay, Eastern Michigan, their last 16 as a road underdog, 14-2 against the spread. And also, they have covered the number in 6 straight as a double-digit underdog, including a 24-20 loss at Kentucky 2 seasons ago when UK had Josh Allen, when they had Mike Edwards, when they had all those NFL guys from last year's D that'll be playing in the league this weekend. They only beat Eastern Michigan 24-20. So 6 in a row as a double-digit dog for EMU, 14-2 against the spread, last 16 as a road dog. And another thing, the injury report, clean as a whistle. Nothing on it for Eastern Michigan, whereas one of Kentucky's defensive players has to sit the first half for targeting, and Isaiah Epps, one of their receivers, a projected starter, is out. And they also had the DB who got hurt in August, the season ender, and I am getting to his name, and it is Devontae Robinson. And I'm looking, I don't want to look it up. Can't do that. All right. Some revenge games out there, revenge angles this week. How about Washington hosting Berkeley? Cal Berkeley, obviously. They lost 12-10 in Berkeley last year. -2 in the turnover department. By the way, Jacob Eason, other than some mop-up duty late in the 2017 season, he had not seen a meaningful snap since the 17 season opener against Appalachian State in Athens when he got hurt. It's like the second drive of the first quarter, I think, and it's been the Jacob Fromm era since then, and a distinguished one, I might add. 2 years off, no problems. Jacob Eason last week, 27-36, 349 yards, 4 touchdowns without an interception. Okay, tomorrow night, big group of 5 game on the Smurf turf. How about my guy? I got on Boise colors today, and Gator colors, mostly Gators. But Hank Bachmeier, the orange and blue faithful, were celebrating at Zook Field, a.k.a. the Toilet Bowl in Tally, last Saturday. Hank Bachmeier, true freshman out of California, most highly decorated recruit in Boise State football history, a 4-star guy as advertised. Fell behind 24-6, 31-13. I might add, I got from 2 Knoll friends of mine in a group text, 9 texts in the first half. 9. You want to know the over-under on texts I got in the second half from them? It's 0.21, and it went under. Anyhow, Bachmeier, 407 passing yards. Look at the Broncos. They're from altitude in Idaho. They are playing in the unfathomable late August humidity of Tallahassee, Florida. And Boise State got stronger as the game went on. They doubled time of possession on the semis, 40 minutes and 3 seconds to 1957. Their FSU's defense gave up 621 yards of total offense. FSU had 426, but less than 100 in the second half. FSU semis, they were going down with cramps the whole game. Boise players, not a cramp the whole game. Look, if that's not ever a hint, and first off, why would Willie T even say this week? But he said it this week. He didn't know if his guys were hydrated enough. I mean, don't give Gatorade free promo, bro. Talking about your Powerade and all this stuff. Powerade isn't getting the job done in the Florida heat in August, Willie. Come on, bro. Tighten up, dude. The Willie T era, 5-8. The Mullen era, 11-3. We got Gators going that way, semis going that way. The poor old Itch and Sims. Man, you know, and by the way, 2 things on the Sims. One, if they want to fire Taggart after this year, they have to pay him an $18 million buyout. And reportedly, heavily reported, the FSU athletic department is apparently very financially strapped. So, I mean, I say signing to extension anyway. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're going to have some big money. First off, that stadium is going to be empty as hell all year long. Funny. Oh, and the number two thing. I've been planning to go to the Smurf Turf in Boise as a bucket list thing for forever. And FSU and Boise State, they scheduled this series like 8 years ago. So, I mean, I have literally had on my calendar, I think it's September 19th of next year of 20, to go to this game. My buddy Jokas, big Noel fan, one of those dork semis who was sending those 9 first half texts last week. I can just go to Tahoe where he lives, stay with him for a night or two, then short flight over to Boise, knock Broncos Stadium off the bucket list, and watch FSU take another pimp slap from the Broncos. Can't wait. But this summer, I was told this by Noel, and then I've done a little reading on it. I actually reached out to BJ Raines, longtime Boise State beat writer for I believe BJ's with the Idaho Statesman. Sorry if I got that wrong, but I reached out to him. The deadline, FSU has up until 365 days before the kick to pay $1 million to get out of that game. There are a lot of people, BJ told me, in Boise that think FSU is going to cancel this game. Some people that I know close to the program with FSU are thinking they want to cancel this game too. But hey, if you got to pay Willie 18 to get out of there after this year, you might as well save one of them. Save one of them and just go take that L. So that's the fate of the semis right now. So Boise tomorrow night against Marshall. I got Boise minus 10.5 early in the week. It's 12 now. Kind of hard for me to endorse that. I've been saying all week, I had it at 56.5 on the total, and I bought it to 56, a multiple of 7, so a key number on an over-under, and I got just two little small plays on Boise in the over tomorrow. But if you can't get it at 56, I say pass on that. One stat there, Doc Holliday, former Gator, all-time Mountaineer, West Virginia guy, been one of the best recruiters in South Florida for many, many decades, and has had a nice 10-year run at Marshall. And they have a good team this year, but they're not going to win tomorrow night out there, I don't think. Short week, and you got to fly all the way across the country. Marshall is a road underdog, under Doc Holliday, 10, 17, and 2 against the spread. Oh my God, I've already been talking 17 plus minutes, and I haven't even gotten to any of the injuries. Oh man, should have broke this down into 2 videos. But I got more injuries to share with you. Okay, Iowa hosting Rutgers, like 20 or 20 and a half. Their offensive tackle, Alaric Jackson, will miss at least the next 2 weeks. Sprained knee, 25 career starts, second team All Big Ten last year, preseason second team All-American in Phil Steele's magazine. He is out. They also have 2 DBs. One had 3 interceptions last year. Another one had 2. We're running low on time, or I'd look their names up. I'm forgetting them now, and I don't have them in front of my face. But their 2 DBs are out for Iowa, and another starting offensive guard, Connor. I ain't got time to look it up. He's questionable. So Iowa's got some injuries going into the Rutgers game. Rutgers fell down 21-7 to UMass and 14-0. Came back and won 48-21 and covered. Break up the Scarlet Knights. Okay, other injuries. Keep an eye on my Twitter account. I've got good Stanford sources. I'll know whether KJ Costello is playing on Saturday. Hopefully by tomorrow night, but it might not be a thing until, Saturday afternoon. Right now he's questionable. He got a concussion. I thought it was a pretty cheap shot late in the first half against Northwestern. And Walker Little, their best offensive lineman by far, a projected first rounder, dislocated knee. He's going to be out like 4 to 8 weeks, probably more like 6 to 8 weeks for Stanford. That's a big loss. The backup QB for Stanford, he was 7 of 14 throwing the ball. It was all dink and dunk stuff. It was typical David Shaw offense. That game sucked. And then, by the way, my picks are 7-3 overall. Started 1-1 in week 0, won Hawaii, lost the Gators. Last week had the brutal bad beat on Northwestern, or else I'd be 8-2 overall. My other loss was the Alabama-Duke over, but I did Alabama's team total over 20.5 at halftime, and they got 21 with like 4 minutes left in the third quarter. So it worked out decently. Texas A&M junior starting cornerback DeBione Renfro suspended for the Clemson game. 37 tackles, 1 sack, 5 passes broken up. Last year, as a freshman in 17, he had 54 tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 5 passes broken up, and 2 TFLs. Oh, we haven't even gotten to Jake Bentley yet, man. This is going to be a 30-minute video. We hadn't done one in a while. We got a lot of shit to talk about. All right, Jake Bentley goes down. I got so many thoughts on this. Okay, first off, oh God, yes I do. I can look up. Yeah, I got all his career numbers. All right, so first off, terrible loss for South Carolina last week. Up 20-9 going to the fourth against a true freshman quarterback and Sam Howell against UNC, and they fall apart. And then they could have won at the end, and Bentley misses a wide-open Shi Smith on first down for an easy touchdown. 2 plays later, he throws his second pick of the fourth quarter. And so now here's Bentley's career stats. 55-32 career touchdown to interception ratio. He is now 19-14 as a starter, 33 career starts. But let's remember now, he took over a 2-4 team as a true freshman off the open date, guided them to a 4-2 record to get them to a bowl game, and then they lost in multiple overtimes to USF. So he went 4-3 as a freshman, taking over a 2-4 team. So, I mean, he's been a pretty damn good quarterback for South Carolina. Has he had some bad games? Yeah, he has. You know how many times he's missed a start? Once. Missouri last year. And he's going to miss his second this week against Charleston Southern. By the way, the Gamecocks are 40 in that game. So this has the makings of a very, very feel-good national story, potentially, if... So South Carolina fans who, I don't know why they got so damn spoiled. I guess because they had never beaten Clemson 5 times in a row ever, and they beat them 5 times in a row by double digits under Spurrier. But in September of Spurrier's last year, hell, they all wanted him out of there, and he left. I'm not saying they forced him out of there, but you know, whatever. They wanted Steve Spurrier to leave. I mean, really? Okay. I know Muschamp is now 22-18 straight up and against the spread, but they overachieved their first 2 seasons. They underachieved last year, and they just had a bad loss. But can we hit the brakes button? I mean, can we hit the brakes, South Carolina fans? And I love all my people at Gamecock Central. Brian Shoemaker. I guess I'm not doing a column this year, but that's okay. I'm swamped. But I interact on the forum on Gamecock Central, and all of them are very complimentary of me. I mean no hate toward any of y'all. Thank you for all your support and reading my stuff and compliments. I love all the Gamecock Central folks. But can we pump the brakes on firing Muschamp yet? Okay, he did ink his franchise quarterback, if you will, in which, by the way, that was Will Grier for him at Florida. Okay, he had it all set up. This is not the first time he's had his starting quarterback go out in early September, by the way, either. But Ryan Helinski was ranked in most publications a top 2 or 3 pro-style quarterback in this 2019 class. A very high 4-star quarterback. Ranked in the top 70 players nationally, just about everywhere, top 50 in some publications. Okay, so his older brother, Tyler Helinski, after his, I think, redshirt freshman or sophomore season at Washington State, he tragically committed suicide. I want to say it was January 13th of 2018. After his death, he was diagnosed with stage 1 CTE. All that we know about CTE and brain injuries now, we now know that causes suicidal tendencies, thoughts, etc. It's just a very tragic story. They are from California. The mom and dad have moved to South Carolina to live with Ryan. He makes his first career start this week, and then 9 days from now, the Alabama Crimson Tide comes to Columbia, where they last came, ranked number 1, defending national champs, 2010. I called the outright upset at the VegasInsider.com seminar in August in front of 300 or 400 people at the seminar. I called it, and Spurrier delivered. 35-21 pimp slap. Steven Garcia played a game for the ages, and Alshon Jeffrey was the man. So Alabama returns to Williams-Brice. Ryan Hilinski, do not be surprised if this kid lights it up, and what a story it would be if he could orchestrate an upset in 9 days. And what a story, national feel-good story that would be. But regardless of whether that happens or not, and look, I concede that's unlikely. The line on the games of the year of the summer was 22.5, and now South Carolina lost to a team that went, 2-9 last year. Had a game with UCF canceled, so only played 11. Where I had somewhere else. However Hilinski plays, okay, Bentley is going to be out. Apparently it's a Liz Frank injury. If it requires surgery, they were seeking a second opinion out of town. I forget where they were sending him. If it's a Liz Frank break and he has to undergo surgery, Maurice Jones-Drew from the Jags, he had this bad Liz Frank deal. If he has to go season-ending surgery, then it's over for this year. If he doesn't have to have surgery, it's probably 4 to 6 weeks, and it'll depend. We may have seen Jake Bentley take his last snap as a Gamecock. We very well may have. Because, look, Hilinski, if he plays well, he will be the present and the future. So Bentley will have options. He's not used his red shirt. Mel Kiper Jr. had him before last weekend, coming into the season on his big board, had Bentley ranked the 4th best quarterback, senior specific, in the 2020 draft. So follow me here. That does not include the QBs that are underclassmen or going to leave early. But seniors only, he was ranked the 4th best. Jake Bentley will be drafted. Jake Bentley, despite what Gamecock fans say and think, is a heck of a quarterback. Did he play like shit in the 4th quarter last week? You damn right he did. Did he cost them that game, missing Shi Smith? Probably. North Carolina could have gone and gotten a field goal. They would have still had like a minute left. But, Jake Bentley will either go pro, return for a 5th season with the Gamecocks, or he can grad transfer, and he will be a very hot commodity. I mean, he will be a free agent that a lot of schools want, and I'm sure a lot of South Carolina fans are like, Sun Belt, whatever. No, that's not right. There will be quality programs that, rather than turn to a young guy, will look for a 1-year fix with Jake Bentley. Trust me on that. If Hilinski plays well, etc., and he might. And the Gamecocks still can have a great season. Look, we said all summer if they go 7-5, it'll be awesome, and their absolute ceiling was 8-4. Can they still go 6-6, maybe 7-5? It's gonna be tough, but maybe. Hilinski might be the real deal. It may be too soon though. It's a true freshman. The Hilinski era in Columbia has arrived, and it is a bit sooner than expected. Okay, other injuries. North Carolina State junior wide receiver C.J. Riley is out for the season with a torn ACL. 28 catches, 315 yards, 2 touchdowns as a sophomore in 2018. Okay, Mississippi State hosts Southern Miss. 2 starters for Mississippi State on the O-line are questionable, and a backup is questionable, and they got those suspensions. But on the flip side, Southern Miss, best receiver last year, Quez Watkins, he is out, academic issue, and their leading returning rusher is doubtful for the Golden Eagles. Oregon State at Hawaii, plus 6.5. Their leading tackler last year, safety Jalen Moore, 104 tackles last season, did not play in the 52-36 loss to Oak State last week. He remains questionable for the Beavers, along with their second leading receiver, Trayvon Bradford, 56 catches, 649 yards, and 6 touchdown receptions last year. USC quarterback JT Daniels out for the season with an ACL. My man, Illinois running back Mike Epstein, 6.1 yards per carry as a freshman in 2017, 6.8 yards per carry as a sophomore in 2018. Both of those seasons ended with season-ending injuries. Week 1 last week, tears an ACL. Mike Epstein, one of the quickest white boy running backs in college football we've seen in a long time, out for the year again. Hat tip, props to him. Get well soon, man. That sucks. 3 years in a row. Season-ending injury. Keaton Thompson, out of the transfer, out of the transfer portal, back to Starkville, backing up Stevens for MSU now. What else? Georgia, sophomore offensive tackle Isaiah Wilson, started all 14 games for the Bulldogs last year. Preseason 4th team All-SEC in Phil Steele's mag. Lower leg injury last night. I haven't checked in the last hour or two. I said he's going to be out a few weeks at least. It was feared maybe a long-term injury. I don't think the verdict's in on that yet, but he's definitely out this week. And Georgia next week has, Arkansas State. So they just hope he's back for Notre Dame September 21st. There's more. I have more content. There is more stuff to talk about. But we've gone 31 minutes and change. And you're tired of listening to me, and I'm damn sure tired of talking. Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. Best of luck with your bets. I gave you my Boise State pick, my Eastern Michigan pick. I certainly hinted that I was leaning Washington. I'm going to have more picks up at BrianEdwardsSports.com. We've got the NFL Roundtable with opinions from Matt Humans, Joe Fortenbaugh, Bruce Marshall, Mark Lawrence, their favorite season win totals, their opinion on the Andrew Luck, the Colts, Jacoby Brissett, the Browns, who meets in the Super Bowl, who wins, everything. Third installment of the Roundtable series on the homepage at MajorWager.com. Follow us on Twitter at MajorWagerUno, all caps. Don't think it matters, though. And I will have more picks available, again, on BrianEdwardsSports.com later this week. Check out the college football locksmith. That's Christopher Smith. He has picks as well this week. And best of luck. Bets, ball games, Budweisers, they're back after a miserable Tuesday, Wednesday with none of the above. Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. I'm out. Good luck.